Hundreds of teachers are leaving Baltimore City schools each year on their own and at times in search of better teaching jobs.
WMER2 News investigative reporter Skylar Henry spoke to those within the school district to learn why so many teachers are leaving at such a high rate.
It's plugging up this brain drain that's a top priority for Baltimore City Schools CEO Dr. Sonia Santelises. She, like others, is trying to keep the most talented educators in the city's classrooms. But the question remains if it's too late. You have to want to teach in Baltimore. The challenges inside city schools are unlike most of its suburban counterparts. Most teachers, including Robin Ramsey McKissick, say it's the students that keep them coming back. Robin has been coming back for 23 years.
Is that we do this because we love it. We love children. We love children in the inner city. We love children from all socioeconomic backgrounds. But at times, it is difficult for us to do what we need to do because of the mandates that are put upon us.
Hurdles, Robin says, can't and shouldn't stop her or others' efforts in the classroom.
And all I know is that when I walk in this room, I'm going to have to make sure that I'm giving these kids 1,000% of who I am, regardless to what funding I receive, what materials that I have. We make it happen every day.
Making it happen only scratches the proverbial surface for these teachers. For years, Robin was a lead teacher, a position considered the highest plateau for educators in the city. But she had to switch schools because of what she says was a lack of funding for her position. A switch that resulted in a position change for her and a $5,000 pay cut. Tough circumstances for Robin, who's at times had to reach into her own pocket to buy composition notebooks and pencils to take care of her students.
There are times that I strongly think about leaving Baltimore City Schools. There are, and it has nothing to do with what I do, because I enjoy what I do. It has everything to do with when it is difficult for me to do what I love to do.
After talking with several teachers, digging into their pockets goes beyond buying paper and crayons to things like deodorant and other toiletries for students. Baltimore Teachers Union President Marietta English says add on looming budget woes, layoffs on top of creating lesson plans for the more than 80,000 students in the district, and that can wear down on even the most tenured.
I think it's bad because, as I said, I think 1/4 of your salary goes to buying supplies.
Robin isn't alone in her 1 foot in, 1 foot out mentality. Thousands have called it quits altogether. In the last 3 years alone, more than 2,500 teachers have voluntarily left the school district, about 18% in just the last year. City School CEO Dr. Sonia Santelises says the rate of teachers leaving is the second highest in the state.
Teachers, by and large, who are leaving are not leaving because of the kids. There's always going to be a portion of those who leave because they find out this is not what they anticipated that it would be. But for others, we know that a lot of it is the conditions in which they work.
Despite recent national attention of learning conditions inside city schools' classrooms, circling around things like classroom temperature, the attrition rate is a trend that predates Santelises' arrival. It's one she says she's narrowed down as to why it's happening at such a rapid rate.
Baltimore's teacher attrition rates really mirror a trend nationally in urban school districts. And it doesn't mean that it makes it excusable. It's not what we want. But we do know that urban school districts traditionally have higher attrition rates.
You want your teachers to be the best that you can get in the city. You want your child to have the best teacher. So
English says it's the pay that's forcing teachers to leave. While the starting salary for an entry-level teacher is among the best in the state, it's the money teachers aren't getting when they're in the system for years that English says is harder to come by. The union and the school district worked on a series of career pathways designed to help high-performing teachers with less experience make more money, starting in a standard track and then working their way up to that model or lead track. But English says with budget tightening, it's harder for teachers who may qualify to get the money they deserve.
in order for you to move to, you just don't move to model. It is a rigorous program in which you have to follow and then be reviewed by your peers.
Santelises says the pathways actually serve as an incentive to perform well, and those who do can make good money. Her focus is on lessening the brain drain and keeping the best teachers around for the district's #1 priority, the students.
Of course it concerns us because we know that high teacher turnover means more instability for young people. But what we are doing is really looking at a school-by-school basis.
A shaky experience, Robbins says, that can affect the youngest minds. It's why, despite the challenges, she's staying around the schools, but she says she isn't sure for how long.
But it impacts that little one sitting in the classroom, and it prohibits us from doing what we need to do to make their academic experience the best, for them.
Dr. Santalisa says she's having regular meetings with teachers on how to make working conditions better. Coming up tomorrow on GMM, we'll have a look at just how far back this attrition rate goes.